Chapter 1. Blood on the Bathroom Floor.
I found my boyfriend's blood before I found his body. 3 drops on the white marble of his bathroom floor. Still wet enough to smear when I accidentally stepped in them. My heart stopped, then started pounding so hard I could hear it echoing off the walls. "Ryan!" My voice cracked in silence. "Ryan!" Nothing. His apartment was exactly as I had left it the morning before. Coffee mug in the sink. Bed unmade from where we'd tangled together just 18 hours ago, whispering promises we'd apparently never get to keep. But the front door had been standing wide open when I arrived with dinner and wine, planning to surprise him. Now those 3 drops of blood told a story I didn't want to read. I followed them like breadcrumbs. 3 drops became 5. 5 became a smear on the doorframe. The trail led toward the bedroom, then vanished. That's when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. My hands shook as I opened the message. "He's alive. For now. Coffee shop on 5th Street. 1 hour. Come alone or he dies. M." A photo followed. Ryan, bound to a chair, blood trickling from his nose, eyes wide with terror, but alive. My knees nearly gave out. Someone had taken Ryan. Someone who knew my number, knew where I'd be, knew exactly how to get me to do whatever they wanted. I stared at the blood on the floor, at Ryan's terrified face on my phone screen, and realized my life had just become a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. The clock on Ryan's nightstand read 8:47 p.m. I had 53 minutes to save the man I loved, and I had no idea who I was walking into a trap with.
Chapter 2. The Stranger's Truth.
Brew and Bean was crowded when I arrived, my palms sweaty despite the autumn chill. I scanned the faces, looking for someone who might be looking for me. That's when I saw him. He sat in the corner booth, partially hidden by shadows, but even from across the room, something about him made my breath catch. Tall, with dark hair that looked like he'd run his fingers through it too many times. His eyes found mine immediately, as if he'd been watching the door, waiting. He raised his hand slightly, a small wave that somehow felt intimate despite the crowd between us. As I approached, I noticed a slight tremor in his hands wrapped around his coffee cup. He was nervous, too. "Alex." His voice was deeper than I'd expected, with an accent I couldn't place. I nodded, sliding into the seat across from him. Up close, he was even more striking. Green eyes that seemed to hold secrets, a jawline sharp enough to cut glass. But there was something haunted in his expression that made my chest tighten. "I'm Marcus," he said, extending his hand. When our fingers touched, an electric shock ran up my arm. He felt it too. I could tell by the way his eyes widened slightly. "You said you knew something about Ryan." I managed, trying to ignore the way my heart was racing. This wasn't the time for attraction. Ryan was missing. Marcus's expression darkened. "Ryan Chun, right? About 5 feet 9 inches. Brown hair. Scar on his left eyebrow from when he fell off his bike as a kid." My stomach dropped. "How do you know about the scar?" Marcus was quiet for a long moment, his fingers drumming against the table. When he finally spoke, his voice was barely above a whisper. "Because I was the one who put Ryan in hiding."
Chapter 3. The Dangerous Game.
The coffee shop suddenly felt too small, too loud. I gripped the edge of the table. "What do you mean, hiding?" "Ryan isn't hiding. He's missing. His family filed a police report." "His family doesn't know the truth," Marcus interrupted, leaning forward. "And neither do you, apparently." The hurt in his voice confused me. "I don't understand." Marcus pulled out his phone, scrolling through messages. He turned the screen toward me, and my world tilted. "Ryan, I can't keep lying to Alex anymore. This is killing me." "Marcus, you know what happens if you tell him. They're watching." "Ryan, I love him. I can't protect him if he doesn't know what he's up against." "Marcus, you love him?" "Ryan, you can't. We agreed." "Ryan, I never agreed to fall for someone else." The timestamp was from 2 days before Ryan disappeared. Someone else. I whispered, my voice cracking. Marcus's jaw clenched. "You weren't supposed to happen, Alex. Ryan was undercover. The relationship with you was supposed to be fake. Just part of his cover story while he investigated financial crimes at your company." The room spun. Everything I thought I knew crumbled. But something went wrong, Marcus continued, his eyes never leaving mine. Ryan wasn't supposed to fall in love with you. And I wasn't supposed to. He stopped abruptly, a flush creeping up his neck. Supposed to what? He looked away. Nothing. The point is, Ryan's cover was blown. Some very dangerous people found out he was FBI. I had to extract him quickly. FBI, undercover, fake relationship. The words echoed in my head like a mantra of betrayal. But then something else Marcus had said registered. Wait, you said you weren't supposed to something. What weren't you supposed to do, Marcus? His green eyes met mine, vulnerability bleeding through his careful composure. I wasn't supposed to understand why Ryan fell for you.
Chapter 4. The Handler's Confession.
Heat flooded my face. What's that supposed to mean? Marcus ran a hand through his dark hair, messing it up further. I'm Ryan's handler. Was his handler. I've been watching you for months, making sure you weren't a threat to the operation. You've been watching me? From a distance. Your morning coffee routine. Your late nights at the office. The way you always take the long way home to the park. His voice grew softer. The way your face lights up when you laugh. The way you were with Ryan. So trusting, so genuine. I started to understand why he couldn't go through with it. I felt exposed, vulnerable. So everything was a lie. My entire relationship with Ryan. No. Marcus's response was sharp, urgent. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Ryan's feelings were real. Whatever you two had, it became real for him. That's why he's in danger now. Where is he? Marcus hesitated. Safe house in Montana. But Alex... He leaned closer, his voice dropping to barely a whisper. There's something else you need to know. The people after Ryan, they know about you now, too. My blood ran cold. What? They think you're involved in whatever Ryan was investigating. Your life is in danger. The coffee shop seemed to fade around us. All I could focus on was Marcus's face, the sincerity in his eyes, the way his hand had moved halfway across the table toward mine before he caught himself. So what now? I asked. Now I do something I've never done before. Marcus finally let his hand complete its journey, his fingers brushing against mine. I break protocol. The touch sent electricity through me again, stronger this time. What are you saying? Marcus's thumb traced across my knuckles, and I didn't pull away. I'm saying I can't be objective about this anymore. I'm saying that watching you for months, seeing how you love Ryan, seeing who you really are... He took a shaky breath. I'm saying I'm going to protect you, even if it costs me everything.
Chapter 5. The Proposition.
My heart hammered against my ribs. Marcus, There's more, he interrupted. The safe house where Ryan is? It's been compromised. Someone on the inside leaked the location. I got word an hour ago. I have to move him tonight. Is he okay? Something flickered across Marcus's face. Jealousy? Pain? Before he answered. He's alive. But Alex, I need you to understand something. Even if I get you both to safety, even if we stop the people hunting you, things between you and Ryan can never go back to the way they were. What do you mean? He lied to you for months. Every kiss, every I love you, every shared moment. You'll always wonder what was real and what was part of the job. The truth of it hit me like a physical blow. Marcus was right. How could I ever trust Ryan again? How could I look at him without seeing the deception? But there's another option, Marcus continued, his thumb still tracing patterns on my hand. What option? Marcus's green eyes locked with mine. Come with me tonight. Help me get Ryan to safety, then disappear. Start over somewhere new. Together. Together? My voice came out breathier than I intended. I know it sounds insane. I know you barely know me. But Alex, what I feel when I look at you, it's not just attraction. It's not just the months of watching you, learning who you are. There's something else, something I can't explain. I should have pulled my hand away. Should have told him he was crazy. But instead, I found myself leaning closer. How do I know you're not lying too? How do I know this isn't just another manipulation? Marcus released my hand and reached into his jacket. For a terrifying second, I thought he was going for a weapon. Instead, he pulled out a small digital recorder and set it on the table between us. This contains every conversation I've had with my superiors about you and Ryan over the past 6 months. Every report I filed, every recommendation I made. You'll hear exactly who I am, what I've done, and why I'm throwing my career away for you. He pressed play, and his voice filled the small space between us. Agent Marcus Chun reporting. Subject Alex Rivera remains unaware of Operation Goldfish. Recommend continued surveillance. Chun. Ryan's last name was Chun. I stared at Marcus in shock. Agent Chun, what's your assessment of the target's emotional state? He's completely in love with Agent Ryan Chun. It's genuine, sir. Real. Is that a problem, Agent? A long pause and, no, sir. No problem at all. But I could hear the lie in his recorded voice. Marcus stopped the recording and looked at me with something that might have been shame. Ryan is my brother.
Chapter 6. Blood and Betrayal.
The world tilted sideways. Your brother? Younger brother. By 2 years. Marcus's voice was steady, but his hands weren't. When Ryan went undercover, I specifically requested to be his handler. I thought I could protect him better than anyone else. My mind reeled. So when you were watching me, when you were reporting on me, I was watching my little brother fall in love for the first time in his life. And I was watching you love him back with everything you had. Marcus's jaw tightened. And somewhere along the way, I started understanding exactly what Ryan was feeling. This is insane. I stood up abruptly, needing space, needing air. You're both FBI agents, you're brothers. Ryan lied to me for months, and now you're telling me you have feelings for me? Your brother's boyfriend. Marcus stood too, his height forcing me to look up at him. Ex-boyfriend, technically. And yes, I know how it sounds. I know how wrong it is. But Alex... No. I held up my hand. This is too much. I need to think. We don't have time to think. Marcus's voice was urgent now. They'll be at Ryan's location within hours. And they'll be coming for you soon after. How do you know? Marcus pulled out his phone, showing me a text message. Package compromised. Clean up all loose ends. That includes the civilian. Director Mills. Clean up. They were going to kill me. So what you're really saying is I don't have a choice, I said bitterly. Come with you or die. No. Marcus stepped closer, close enough that I could smell his cologne, could see the flecks of gold in his green eyes. You have a choice. Trust me to keep you safe, or trust the system that's already decided you're expendable. He was right, and I hated that he was right. And Ryan? What happens to him in all this? Marcus's expression grew complicated. Ryan chose his path when he refused to maintain emotional distance. He knew the risks when he fell for you. Now he's paying the price. You sound like you blame him. Maybe I do. The admission seemed to surprise Marcus as much as it surprised me. Maybe I blame him for being careless with something precious. The way he said precious made heat pool in my stomach. Marcus. I started and stopped. What could I possibly say? I know you need time to process this. I know it's overwhelming. But right now, I need you to make a decision. Come with me tonight. Help me save Ryan. And then decide what you want your life to look like after this is over. I looked at this man. This stranger who wasn't really a stranger, who'd been watching me for months, who was Ryan's brother and handler, and apparently something more than either of those things. If I say yes, what exactly are you asking me to do? Marcus's smile was sharp, dangerous. I'm asking you to trust me with your life. And I'm asking you to help me steal my brother back from some very bad people. And after, Marcus reached out, his fingers barely grazing my cheek. After, we see if what I think I feel is real. We see if you can forgive Ryan for lying to you. We see if you can trust me despite everything I am and everything I've done. I closed my eyes, leaning into his touch despite myself. This is crazy. The best things usually are. When I opened my eyes, Marcus was watching me with an intensity that made my knees weak. Okay, I whispered. I'm in.
Chapter 7. The Rescue Plan.
Marcus's apartment was nothing like I'd expected. While Ryan's place had been carefully curated to look like a young professional's bachelor pad, Marcus's space felt lived in, real. Books everywhere, a guitar in the corner, photos of what must have been him and Ryan as children scattered across surfaces. "You can see the family resemblance," I said, picking up a photo of two boys at what looked like a carnival. The younger one, Ryan, was grinning widely, cotton candy in his hair. The older one, Marcus, was looking at his brother with such protective affection that it made my chest ache. "He was always a charmer," Marcus said, coming up behind me with coffee. "Could talk his way into or out of anything. Made him perfect for undercover work. And you?" Marcus's smile was self-deprecating. "I was always the one who cleaned up his messes." I set the photo down and turned to face him. "Is that what this is? You cleaning up another one of Ryan's messes?" Marcus went very still. "Is that what you think you are? A mess to be cleaned up?" The hurt in his voice surprised me. I realized that despite everything, the deception, the danger, the impossible situation, I didn't want to hurt Marcus. "I don't know what I think anymore," I said honestly. Marcus set his coffee down and moved closer, close enough that I had to tilt my head back to maintain eye contact. "Can I tell you what I think?" he asked softly. I nodded, not trusting my voice. "I think my brother found something rare and beautiful and real, and he was too scared and too trained in deception to know how to handle it honestly." His hand came up to cup my cheek, thumb brushing along my cheekbone. "I think you loved him completely, without reservation, the way people should be loved." My breath caught. "And I think," he continued, his voice dropping to barely above a whisper, "that watching you love him taught me what I've been looking for my entire life." "Marcus, I know it's not fair. I know the timing is terrible. I know I'm asking you to trust someone who's been lying to you for months, just like Ryan was." "Then why?" "Because unlike Ryan, I'm not going to pretend my feelings don't exist. Unlike Ryan, I'm going to be honest about what I want, even if it complicates everything." We were standing so close now that I could feel the warmth radiating from his body. My heart was pounding so hard I was sure he could hear it. "What do you want, Marcus?" His other hand came up to frame my face, and I felt myself leaning into the touch despite every rational thought screaming at me to step away. "I want to keep you safe. I want to save my brother because I love him, despite everything. And when this is over," he paused, his thumbs tracing along my jawline. "When this is over, I want to find out if you can love someone like me. Someone like you? Someone complicated. Someone dangerous. Someone who falls for his brother's ex-boyfriend and doesn't know how to apologize for it." I should have stepped back. Should have told him this was too much, too fast, too complicated. Instead, I found myself rising up on my toes, closing the distance between us. "Maybe," I whispered against his lips, "I don't need you to apologize." When our mouths met, it was nothing like kissing Ryan had been. Where Ryan was smooth and practiced, Marcus was urgent and a little clumsy, like he was pouring months of suppressed longing into a single moment. When we finally broke apart, both of us breathing hard, Marcus rested his forehead against mine. "We should go," he said reluctantly. "The longer we wait, the more dangerous this becomes." I nodded, but neither of us moved. "Alex." "Yeah." "Whatever happens tonight, whatever we find when we get to Ryan, I need you to know that this," he gestured between us, "isn't about him. This is about you and me." I searched his eyes, looking for any sign of deception, any hint that this was another manipulation. All I found was sincerity and something that looked like hope. "Okay," I said, "let's go save your brother." Marcus's smile was brilliant and heartbreaking. "Then let's go."
Chapter 8, The Safe House.
The drive to Montana took 8 hours, most of it in comfortable silence broken only by Marcus's occasional phone calls in what sounded like code. I dozed fitfully against the passenger window, waking periodically to find Marcus glancing at me with an expression I couldn't quite read. It was nearly dawn when we pulled up to a cabin, so isolated it might as well have been on another planet. Marcus killed the engine and turned to me. "Whatever Ryan says when he sees us together, whatever assumptions he makes, just remember what I told you. This isn't about him anymore." I nodded, though my stomach was twisted in knots. How do you face the man you thought you loved after learning everything was a lie? The cabin door opened before we reached it, and there he was. Ryan looked thinner than I remembered, his hair longer and unkempt. But it was definitely him. The man I'd share my bed and my heart with for 8 months. The man I planned a future with. Marcus. His voice was hoarse with disbelief. What the hell are you doing here? And Alex. His eyes widened when he saw me. Oh, God. Alex, I'm so sorry. I want to tell you. The safe house is compromised. Marcus, come off. We need to move. Now. But Ryan wasn't listening. He was staring at me with such raw emotion that I had to look away. Alex, please let me explain. There's nothing to explain, I said quietly. I know about the undercover assignment. I know it was fake. Ryan flinched as if I'd hit him. It wasn't fake. Not all of it. Not the way I felt about you. Ryan. Marcus's voice carried a warning. We don't have time for this. Don't have time. Ryan whirled on his brother. I haven't seen Alex in 3 weeks. I've been going crazy wondering if he was safe, if he understood why I had to disappear. He understands, Marcus said evenly. Now we need to go. Something in Marcus's tone must have alerted Ryan, because his eyes narrowed as he looked between us. Wait, how did you find Alex? How did you convince him to come here? Marcus said nothing, but I saw his jaw tighten almost imperceptibly. Ryan's gaze sharpened. Marcus, how long have you been in contact with Alex? That's not important right now. Like hell it's not important. Ryan stepped closer to his brother, and I could see the family resemblance even more clearly now. The same stubborn set to their jaws, the same protective instincts. You're my handler. You don't make contact with civilians without authorization. So either you got authorization, which I doubt, or... The silence stretched between the three of us, heavy with unspoken implications. Ryan's voice dropped to a whisper. Or you went rogue. Marcus lifted his chin defiantly. I did what I had to do to keep both of you safe. Both of us. Ryan's laugh was bitter. Since when do you care about keeping Alex safe? Since when is Alex anything more than a complication in your reports? I saw the exact moment when understanding hit Ryan. His face went pale, then flushed with anger. You son of a bitch. You fell for him. Marcus said nothing, but he moved almost imperceptibly closer to me. The gesture was protective, possessive, and unmistakable. Ryan stared at us both, hurt and betrayal warring across his features. How long? He asked quietly. Ryan, I started, but he held up a hand. How long, Marcus? Marcus met his brother's gaze steadily. Months. Months. Ryan's voice cracked. You've been watching him for months, filing reports about him, and you fell for him. Yes. And you? Ryan turned to me, and the pain in his eyes was devastating. How long have you been fucking my brother? Ryan, that's not... I began, but Marcus stepped forward. Don't talk to him like that. The protective edge in Marcus's voice seemed to confirm every suspicion Ryan had. The younger brother laughed, high and sharp. This is perfect. This is fucking perfect. I finally find someone real, someone worth risking everything for, and my own brother steals him away. I didn't steal anyone, Marcus said quietly, and you lost the right to claim him when you lied to him for 8 months. Ryan moved so fast, I barely saw it coming. One moment he was across the cabin. The next his fist was connecting with Marcus's jaw with a sickening crack. Marcus staggered, but didn't go down, didn't even raise his hands to defend himself. Feel better? He asked, wiping blood from his split lip. Not even close, Ryan snarled, cradling his knuckles. Enough. I stepped between them. Hands out. Just stop. Both of you. They both looked at me, breathing hard. Ryan, I'm sorry you're hurt. I'm sorry everything got so complicated. But Marcus is right. You lied to me for months. You made every moment between us part of an investigation. That's not true. Then what is true? I demanded. Which part were real, Ryan? Which kisses were genuine? And which ones were just good acting? When you told me you loved me, were you reporting that back to your superiors too? Ryan's silence was answer enough. I turned to Marcus. And you? You've been watching me like a subject in an experiment, filing reports about my emotional state, analyzing my relationship like data. Marcus's jaw tightened, but he nodded. Yes. So here's what we're going to do. I continued. We're going to get out of here before whoever's hunting us shows up. We're going to find somewhere safe. And then we're all going to figure out what's real and what isn't. I looked between the two brothers, so similar and so different, both complicated and dangerous, and somehow precious to me in ways I was only beginning to understand. But right now, none of that matters. Right now, we survive. As if summoned by my words, the sound of vehicles approaching cut through the morning air. Marcus and Ryan both went rigid, their family conflict instantly forgotten in the face of external threat. How many? Ryan asked, already moving toward what I assumed was a weapons cache. Marcus peered to the window. 3 cars. Maybe 12 men. We're outnumbered. Back exit? Blocked. They've got us surrounded. Ryan tossed Marcus a gun and turned to me. Alex, there's a root cellar behind the kitchen. Get down there and... No. I stepped back. I'm not hiding while you two get yourselves killed. Alex. Both brothers said simultaneously, then glared at each other. This isn't negotiable. Marcus said firmly. You're not trained for this. Maybe not, but I'm not losing both of you to some corporate assassins because I was too cowardly to help. The sound of boots on the cabin's porch ended the argument. Surrender now in the civilian lives. A voice called from outside. We just want the agents. Marcus and Ryan exchanged a look that held an entire conversation. They're lying, Marcus said quietly. Ryan nodded. Alex is a loose end. They'll kill him regardless. Then we fight. Watching them in that moment, united in purpose despite everything between us, I realized something that should have been obvious. I wasn't choosing between them. I was falling for both of them, and I was about to watch them die protecting me.
Epilogue, 6 months later.
The little cafe in Portland was nothing like Brew and Bean, but the corner booth gave me the same sense of nervous anticipation I'd felt that day Marcus first told me the truth. I checked my watch. 3:17 p.m. They were late, but that wasn't unusual anymore. Their new job kept them busy, though they were careful never to give me too many details. The bell over the door chimed, and I looked up to see them scanning the crowd. Marcus spotted me first. He always did, and nudged Ryan, who broke into that brilliant smile that had first caught my attention nearly 2 years ago. They made their way over, Marcus sliding in beside me while Ryan took the seat across from us. Under the table, Marcus's hand found mine, while Ryan's foot hooked around my ankle. Small touches, but they grounded me. How did the job interview go? Ryan asked, flagging down a waitress. Good, I think. They seemed interested in my consulting experience, which you got from helping us set up our security firm. Marcus pointed out with a grin, which I got from dating 2 paranoid ex-FBI agents who taught me everything I know about background checks and threat assessment. I corrected. The 3 of us had learned to joke about it now, but those first few months after the safe house had been complicated. Figuring out how to navigate a relationship between 3 people, 2 of whom were brothers, had required more communication skills than any of us possessed. Therapy helped, both individual and the group sessions we all attended together, much to Dr. Martinez's fascination and professional delight. So, Ryan said once we'd ordered, Marcus and I have been talking. I looked between them. After almost 6 months together, I'd learned to recognize this particular tone. About what? Marcus pulled out a small velvet box and set it on the table between us. My heart stopped. About making this official, Marcus said softly. All 3 of us, Ryan added quickly. I know it's not legal in the traditional sense, but we love you, Marcus finished. Both of us completely, and we love each other, even when we want to kill each other. Speak for yourself, Ryan muttered, but he was smiling. I stared at the ring box, then at their faces. Are you sure? I mean, really sure? Because this is complicated and messy, and people are going to judge us. Let them, Ryan said simply. I spent 8 months lying about who I was and what I felt. I'm done pretending to be anything other than exactly what I am. And what are you? I asked. A man who's completely in love with his brother's boyfriend. Ryan said without hesitation. And I'm a man who's completely in love with my brother's ex-boyfriend, Marcus added. And you're both idiots, I said, tears stinging my eyes. Is that a yes? Marcus asked hopefully. I opened the box. Inside were 3 rings, matching bands in white gold, simple and perfect. That's a yes. Marcus's kiss tasted like coffee and promises. Ryan's tasted like hope and new beginnings. And for the first time since that night I missed my train, I knew exactly where I belonged.